Hello and welcome to Tales from Tomorrow, a place where we explore the future, the fantastic, and the fundamentally human. Tonight, we journey to the stars, not with a tale of conquest, but one of quiet understanding. A story that asks a simple question. In a galaxy of advanced logic and cold, hard physics, what is the value of a flawed, fragile, and feeling soul? This is the Symphony of Scars. The Xylosian Arbiter, a being of crystalline light and shifting geometric planes, observed the human diplomat with a sense of profound confusion. Designation Ambassador Eva Rostova. Biological age 67 standard cycles. Physiological readings suboptimal. Muscular degradation 12%. Optical lens flexibility reduced. Neural synaptic speed 18% below galactic median. By all measurable metrics, Ambassador Rostova was obsolete. A relic. The Xylosians, who achieved immortality through mind uploading millennia ago, could not comprehend why humanity would send such a damaged representative to the most critical diplomatic summit in their history. The Galactic Compact was on the verge of admitting humanity, but a significant faction, led by the Xylosians, was skeptical. They saw humans as chaotic, emotional, and dangerously unpredictable, too organic. "The proposal is simple, Ambassador," the Arbiter chimed, its voice a melody of pure data. "Your species demonstrates mastery over foundational stability. Cede the resource rights to the Lightened Star System, a region of minimal strategic value to you, and it will serve as a token of your long-term logistical foresight." Refusal would be illogical. Eva smiled, a gentle crinkling around her eyes that the Arbiter's sensors registered as micro-fractures in the dermal layer. "The Lightened System is home to a research outpost, Arbiter. A project very dear to us. We call it the Memory Vault, a data archive," the Arbiter stated flatly. "Redundant. Your global networks hold quintillions of times more information. The system's real value is its proximity to a stable gravitational eddy for our jump gates." "It's not just data," Eva said, her voice soft but firm. "It's context. It's the why behind the data. Perhaps a demonstration would be more effective than debate. I invite you to accompany me to the vault." The Arbiter calculated the probabilities. The journey was inefficient. The outcome was uncertain. Yet, the human's insistence was a significant data point in itself. Curiosity, a trait the Xylosians had not entirely purged, won out. "Very well, we shall observe this context." The journey was made in silence. The Arbiter existed in a perpetual state of perfect, interconnected thought with its ship. Eva spent her time looking out a viewport at the streaking stars, her hands, marked with age spots and faint scars, resting calmly in her lap. The Arbiter noted her elevated cortisol levels. Anxiety or anticipation it could not differentiate. They arrived at Leighton Star. Instead of a massive server complex, the vault was a single, small station orbiting a barren, rust-colored planet. It was humble, almost fragile. Inside, the air was cool and still. The lighting was low. They walked through silent halls until they reached a circular chamber. In the center was a simple, crystalline plinth. "This is the interface," Eva said. "It doesn't just show you history. It allows you to experience key moments from the perspective of those who lived them. Not the grand, sweeping narratives of empires, but the personal, pivotal moments of individuals. The moments that forged our species' soul." The Arbiter extended a filament of light connecting to the plinth, an empathy simulator. A potentially destabilizing technology. "It is a truth teller," Eva corrected. "I suggest you start with a file designated Sinai, 1947. The Arbiter accessed the file. In a nanosecond, it was no longer on the station. It was a young, terrified archaeologist, sweat stinging his eyes, digging through sun-baked stone. The feeling was visceral, overwhelming. The Arbiter experienced the man's desperate hope, his fear of failure, and then the world-altering shock as his fingers brushed against the cool, preserved leather of the first Dead Sea Scroll. It felt the man's trembling awe, not as data, but as a seismic shift in his very being, the humbling realization that he was touching a message from the past, a piece of a story far greater than himself. The Arbiter recoiled, its crystalline form flickering. The emotional surge was intense, illogical. "It was discovery," Eva said softly. "Now try Berlin, 1989. Again, the flood of sensation." The Arbiter was a young woman from East Berlin, her heart hammering against her ribs, clutching the hand of a stranger as they pushed through a cheering, crying, singing crowd. She placed the chisel against the cold, graffiti-covered concrete of the wall. With each strike, she wasn't just breaking stone. She was breaking an idea. The Arbiter felt the collective catharsis, the terrifying, exhilarating taste of a freedom so long denied it had become a myth. It was chaos, it was messy, and it was utterly, vibrantly alive. That was irrational exuberance. The systemic risk was enormous, the Arbiter protested, its logical processes struggling to categorize the experience. It was hope, Eva replied. One more. Jupiter Frontier 2241. This time, the Arbiter was engineer Kato Tanaka, trapped in a shattered mining ship. The Odyssey tumbling into the gas giant's crushing gravity well. Power was failing. Oxygen was at 3%. The fear was a cold, metallic taste. But then Kato's training took over. With calm, desperate ingenuity, he began rerouting auxiliary power, using the ship's own wreckage as a shield, calculating a slingshot trajectory that was, by all rights, impossible. The Arbiter felt the terrifying solitude, the crushing weight of certain death, and then the fiery, defiant spark of the human will not today. It felt Kato's triumphant, gasping sob as the crippled ship, against all logic, punched its way out of the atmosphere and into the clean, star-dusted black. The Arbiter disconnected from the plinth, its light dim and unsteady. The perfect, orderly universe of its mind was in turmoil. It had experienced failure, despair, and terror, but also hope, triumph, and a stubborn, illogical refusal to surrender. It looked at Eva, truly looked at her for the first time. Not at her bio readings, but at her. The silver in her hair wasn't degradation. It was the frost of winters survived. The lines on her face weren't fractures, they were the topography of a life fully lived, of smiles shared and tears shed. The slight tremor in her hand wasn't a system's failure, it was the lingering echo of a hand once held too tightly. Your inefficiencies, the Arbiter began, its voice now a whisper of shifting harmonics. Your limited lifespans, your fragility, they are not weaknesses. No, Eva said, her gaze steady. They are the source of our strength. We know our time is short, so we love more fiercely. We create with more passion. We fight harder for what we believe in. We are not logical, Arbiter. We are a symphony played on imperfect instruments, and our scars are the notes. That research outpost you wanted, it's not studying the star, it's studying us. It's ensuring we never forget the price of our progress, the pain of our failures, and the beauty of our fleeting moments. The Arbiter was silent for a long time, processing not data, but meaning. We Xylosians sought perfection by eliminating variables, it finally said. We achieved stability. We became a single, held note pure, eternal, and empty. You humans, you are the entire symphony, the dissonance and the harmony, the crescendo and the silence. It turned its luminous form toward Eva. The lightened system is yours. The compact will welcome humanity. Not in spite of your flaws, but because of them. You have reminded us that a story without struggle, without an ending, is no story at all. It is merely data. As they left the memory vault, the Arbiter no longer saw an obsolete biological entity. It saw a library. It saw a living, breathing epic. It saw a future, not of cold, perfect logic, but of warm, chaotic, and glorious possibility. And so, humanity found its place not by being the strongest or the smartest, but by being the most deeply, profoundly alive. A reminder that sometimes our greatest strength lies in our very imperfections. Thank you for listening to this tale from tomorrow. If this story resonated with you, please lend your voice to our symphony by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Tell us in the comments, what human quality do you think would most surprise the galaxy? Until next time, keep looking to the stars.